What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up! Kind of a boot, but not really. Because I can't promise that this is going to be scary. But I feel like it kind of, in a way, falls under the little, you know what I'm saying, scary category. Because if you don't know and never heard of FBI's America's Most Wanted, the FBI's 10 Most Wanted explained. I don't know if this is an all-time one or if right now. Shout out to Chillin' Scares back on the channel once again. Now, I actually got a funny backstory about America's Most Wanted, or FBI's Most Wanted. I think that's the actual way to say it. But anyway, man, remember when I was legit, bro, about like 10 or 11 years old. I used to watch this show actually a lot with my peoples back in the day, bro. This show has been around for at least 20, 30 plus years. All right, so don't even try and be like, oh, shut up. All right, but nah, all jokes aside, bro, I hate to even admit this, you know what I'm saying, to this day, but this show actually gave me nightmares a couple of times when I was legit, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, bro, there had some episodes where there was some weirdo behind people, bro. You know, like, weirdo ass people, like, and they would be just doing the most gruesome crimes, and I just be like, dang, like, you know what I'm saying? They really out there right now, and I was always thinking, like, what if they just, like, you feel me, like, run up, you feel me, while I'm, like, you know, in the crib, going, like, sleeping, you feel, so I was just like, bro, but yeah, now, look, I just didn't want to admit that, but, hey, all about honesty over here, man, but obviously I have outgrown that. Now, obviously, I cannot promise you anything scary, but I'm pretty sure there's a couple of scary, like, things that some people have probably did where it got you questioning and scratching your head and want you to look at your surroundings a couple of times. Remember, guys, to always watch your surroundings and be safe out there, man, especially throughout this holiday season. You got a lot of, crazier, thirsty, miserable people around during this time period, man, and they just don't want to do nothing but harm others. So please be safe out there. And that stuff happens all year round, so I don't want to just make it it's just a whole holiday winter type of thing. Yeah, man, stay safe out there, man. Never be too comfortable, because that's when they always come and get you. Let's check it out.
For 75 years, the FBI's top 10 most wanted list has helped bring down some of the nation's most dangerous criminals. As for what makes the list special, it only features criminals that the FBI deems to be especially serious threats to society. And to get on it, you basically have to do something extremely messed up or have a very lengthy record of major crimes. The story behind the list goes that back in 1949, a reporter asked the FBI to list out the 10 toughest guys that they were trying to catch so they could ask the public for help. After obtaining the list, the reporter published the criminals' pictures on the front page of the Washington Daily News, and the rest is history. Since then, the FBI has been able to catch almost 500 wanted fugitives thanks to public tips. These are the current criminals on the list.
Okay.
Bhadresh Kumar Shetanbai Patel.
Huh?
On April 12, 2015, a CCTV camera captured two Dunkin' Donuts employees, one male and one female, walking towards the shop's back room at around 9:30 p.m. before disappearing from view. A few seconds later, the man comes back into the camera's view, and it seems as if nothing out of the ordinary took place in the minute that went down between the two clips. A few minutes later, customers alerted the police when they didn't see any employees in the shop, and that's when the cops discovered something horrifying. Lying on the floor of the shop's back room was an Indian woman named Palak, lifeless, who had been pummeled to death by the man in the footage. As it was later revealed, the man who took Palak's life was her husband, Bhadresh Kumar. As the authorities later learned, the couple had been through a series of major arguments in the months leading up to that day. According to court documents, the two of their visas were about to expire in a few weeks. Palak wanted to go back to India, but Bhadresh Kumar wanted to stay in the US, and it looks like he couldn't find a better way to communicate his frustration with the situation than to brutally take his wife's life.
Damn.
After the crime, Bhadresh Kumar was last seen taking a taxi from a hotel in New Jersey to a train station in Newark, but what he did after that is really anyone's guess. To bring more attention to a suspect who might otherwise walk away scot-free, the FBI placed him on the most wanted list.
Damn.
As of today, there's a $250,000 reward to bring the suspect into custody. But almost 10 years after the crime, it looks like that won't happen anytime soon.
That's crazy, bro. So I'm basically sum it up short. Buddy basically offed his wife because the wife wanted to go back to India where they're originally from. And if you guys don't understand, now I kind of have a 90% understanding of how visas work. If, let's say, whoever like they're married to, they decide and they're not like legally divorced, and they don't, the person that has a visa or whatever, the citizenship in the US, doesn't get remarried to somebody else in a certain amount of time. Because I believe if you are like a natural citizen of the US, you can just get married to somebody that was born in the US. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be educational, reacts at the same time, you feel me? But I'm not perfect. The visa basically renews and you can stay here. So guessing that, bro, Buddy couldn't find another, like, you feel me, woman, or, you know what I'm saying, couldn't turn, like, if he had a side piece or nothing, he couldn't turn like the side piece to the wife type ish in time before his visa was about to expire, you know, while his wife wanted to leave anyway. So that means if she leaves, he has to go with her. And he just, bro, crashed out, man. That's sad, bro. That's sad, bro. Like, there could have been a way better way to, like, resolve this, dog. Like, why would you even, like, crazy thing is, they didn't even catch him, so he's probably, he already left he had to have left the United States. You know what I'm saying? He had to have left. There's no way he wouldn't have been able, once you get to, like, the FBI's, like, most wanted, bro, there's no way, unless you're going to, like, some, like, state like Idaho or southern eastern South Dakota, like, you're gonna be found, bro. So he left the US anyway, and now if they happen to catch him, he's gonna 100% probably do double life at this point. Like, man, there could have been a better way around this, bro. He could have easily probably just gone to India, you know what I'm saying, take the, you know, feel me, like, just take it on the chin, and then maybe found somebody else, you know. And hey, man, it's sad. That's a sad scenario right there, man. Prayers to his, I mean, it's kind of cringy to really call him his wife, that he did that to his wife, but prayer to his wife's family and everything that happened, man. That's sad. That's sad, man. That's sad.
Alejandro Rosales Castillo. The youngest suspect on the most wanted list, 26-year-old Alejandro Rosales Castillo, has been on the FBI's radar for more than 8 years. In 2016, he shot his female co-worker Sandy Lee in a wooded area in Cabarrus County, North Carolina. A few days later, the female victim's car was located at a bus station in Phoenix, Arizona. As the Sandy Lee in a wooded area in Cabarrus County, North Carolina. A few days later, the female victim's car was located at a bus station in Phoenix, Arizona.
In Arizona?
As the authorities later found out, there were multiple people involved in the case, with the main ones being the victim, a woman named Amia Feaster, and Alejandro himself, all of whom worked together at a restaurant in Charlotte. During the investigation, the cops learned that Sandy Lee and Alejandro had briefly dated, and after their breakup, Castillo started dating his other co-worker, Amia Feaster. According to court documents, Sandy Lee had apparently lent some money to Alejandro, and on August 9th of that year, he texted her to meet up with him at a Quick Trip located on Eastway Drive in Charlotte, claiming that he was going to pay her back. Disturbingly, that's when Castillo decided to rob her at gunpoint, take her life, and flee to Mexico.
What?
In an eerie clip of CCTV footage that was later released by the authorities, the suspect can be seen crossing the Mexican border through Nogales, Arizona, along with his girlfriend Amia. A couple of months later that same year, Amia turned herself into the authorities in Mexico and was charged with accessory after the fact of felony murder and larceny of a motor vehicle. Based on her testimony, she and Alejandro had been staying with the killer's cousin. At some point, Castillo had once again disappeared with no explanation, and that's when she decided to turn herself in. As of 2024, the FBI has no further clues that could lead to Castillo's arrest. Right now, all they know is that he's probably still living in Mexico. The last time he was seen, he wore his hair short and shaved on the sides, but that's pretty much all they have to go on.
Bro, before they even finish off, bro, which is really creep about this whole thing, if you heard Buddy, the one that, you know what I'm saying, off his ex-coworker girlfriend, he said that he basically let her borrow money. So basically, bro had this plotted for a minute. So he basically let somebody borrow money so he can meet with them, or, you know what I'm saying, vice versa, you know what I'm trying to basically say. So basically, they can meet later on so they can, like, set up that whole, you know what I'm saying, play, bro. Yo. And another thing, too, guys, I've always said this, bro. Like, maybe you guys can, like, have on some friends with benefits relationship, but, man, wherever you work, dog, like, dog, don't date anybody in your work field, dog, because as soon as you break up or you caught talking to somebody else or whatever, man, like, why would you even set yourself up in that situation, dog?
Today, there's still a $250,000 reward out for his arrest, but there have been no further updates on his case.
That is crazy, man.
Before we move on, I wanted to take some time to talk about this video's sponsor, Aura, which has become a really which puts don't phone numbers or sit news as Aura is like the don't give you up to get things. I get this world today. In 2016, the Bulgarian entrepreneur Ruja Ignatova stepped on stage in a beautiful red dress at the Coin Rush global event in Wembley, London to talk about her vision for the future of her crypto company OneCoin. During the presentation, she claimed that in 2 years, everyone would forget about Bitcoin and that OneCoin would dominate the crypto world as the one true cryptocurrency. It's hard to imagine that any of her excited, applauding investors knew that they were stepping into what was later described by the New York Times as one of the biggest scams in history.
Really?
For several years, Ruja, or the crypto queen as she's known nowadays, promised her buyers a 5-fold and even 10-fold return on their investment in OneCoin. Normally, these kinds of claims are an immediate red flag, but because the entire world was scrambling to get on the crypto action, a ton of investors jumped at the opportunity without thinking twice, resulting in a massive OneCoin buying frenzy. Between 2014 and 2016, OneCoin raked in more than $4 billion from unsuspecting investors, with more than $50 million coming from investors in the US. As the investors learned when they bought into OneCoin, the company was pretty much a pyramid scheme in which they were rewarded for recruiting their friends to buy it as well. And for a while, the shady multi-level marketing model seemed to be working for Ruja. However, in 2016, a lot of our investors started complaining that they were really struggling to sell their OneCoins and that they didn't see how they'd ever recoup their investments. Word started to spread online that OneCoin was a scam, which drew the attention of the media as well as federal investigators. Unfortunately, it was a little too late by then. Less than a year and a half after her presentation in Wembley, Ruja got on a plane from Bulgaria to Greece and was never seen again.
Damn! This hit the fucking lick of a lifetime, bro. See, I never got into Bitcoin or crypto or none of that stuff, man. But one thing I can say, man, where if you guys decide to get into that stuff, dog, make sure you're doing your research and make sure you know what you're doing, man. There's so many ways. Like, I've heard... not the same exact thing, but I've heard similar scams like this over the past 3 to 5 years. And it's just, man.
Disturbingly, during the investigations, a bunch of really messed up emails written by Ruja were leaked by federal investigators in which the crypto queen made it more than clear that she knew she was scamming people out of their hard-earned money from the very start. In some of her emails, she admitted that the company wasn't actually mining any coins, that her coin was trash, and that her investors were idiots for trusting her. In one of her emails, she proposed an exit strategy to her partner Carl Greenwood, which consisted of taking the money, running away, and blaming somebody else for the whole thing.
Nah, she's grimy as hell. Yeah, she gotta get dealt with. I ain't gonna lie, bro. She gotta get dealt with, bro. Like, somebody speak. It's one thing, and it's still not any type of excuse to be doing any type of you know what I'm saying, that type of fraud, scam, or whatever, and everything. But bro, to just basically shit on everybody else for them knowing that you're scamming them and then flexing on them like this, come on, bro. That's just 100% evil mentality, dog. And the thing is, people don't understand, bro. Karma doesn't skip a beat. And let's say it does happen to skip a beat and it misses you, bro, it's gonna come back to somebody that's close to you. It's gonna come back to your, you know what I'm saying, family. It's gonna come back to somebody that you love, bro. You know what I'm saying? Karma never misses at the end of the day. So why would you... This is grimy as hell, bro. You see what's highlighted, right?
During the investigation, Carl ended up pleading guilty to wire fraud and conspiracy to launder money, for which he was sentenced to 20 years in prison. As it was later revealed, the FBI had been onto Ruja long before she fled from Bulgaria, even recruiting her American boyfriend to look into her company's practices for them. After learning about her extremely sketchy business practices and her grand scheme to steal billions of dollars from investors all around the world, she was charged with wire fraud, money laundering, and securities fraud. This promptly landed her a spot on the FBI's most wanted list, becoming only the 11th woman to earn that distinction. Looking into her past to find clues as to what could have influenced Ruja to do something so nefarious, federal investigators found some pretty interesting stuff. As it turns out, Ruja was fluent in 4 languages, was extremely intelligent, once had a job at a high-ranking consulting firm, and had been obsessed with fashion and maintaining her image from a very young age. It was only with the benefit of hindsight that prosecutors were able to clearly see how she used all these qualities to carry out her malicious plans. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the FBI will find her anytime soon. It's been rumored that after fleeing the country, the crypto queen may have drastically altered her appearance with plastic surgery, and is believed to travel with armed guards at all times. Disturbingly, there have also been several allegations that she was murdered by an accomplice, but this hasn't been proven. If she is still alive, the FBI suspects Ruja is traveling on a German passport to the United Arab Emirates, Bulgaria, Germany, Russia, Greece, and multiple countries in Eastern Europe. Considering how elusive she's been since her disappearance almost 8 years ago, it's unlikely the FBI will ever find out what became of Ruja Ignatova after pulling off one of the largest financial scams in history.
Man.
Arnoldo Jimenez. On May 12, 2012, Arnoldo Jimenez and his wife Estrella went out to celebrate their wedding in a black 2006 four-door Maserati. Less than 24 hours after the couple had said their vows, Arnoldo knifed his wife to death in the car, dragged her into the bathroom tub of her apartment in Burbank, Illinois, and disappeared without a trace. When Estrella didn't come back to pick up her kids at school the next day, her family called the cops, who ended up finding Estrella's remains still in her wedding dress in her bathtub.
Bro, like, that is just disgustingly evil, bro. Like, imagine the kids, bro. Like, imagine, like, you were supposed to pick up your kids that day, and your kids, like, the last night before was your last time seeing your mom, bro. Like, and you know, and they have, like, their, you know, which they would be considered their grandma or grandpa or whatever, etc. You know, having them tell them what happened, if they're even, like, able to even understand half of anything, dog.
Immediately, a nationwide search for Arnoldo was launched, but by that time the suspect was long gone. During the investigation, it was revealed that Jimenez had reached out to a friend before fleeing and told him, "If anyone asks where I am, tell them I went to Mexico." Since then, the authorities have received multiple tips that Jimenez may have fled to Durango or Tamaulipas, Mexico, where he is believed to be hiding out with family members. Initially, a $100,000 reward was issued for anyone with information that could lead to his arrest, but 4 years after he was placed on the most wanted list, the FBI increased the reward to $250,000. Burbank police have stated that in the past 12 years they've received hundreds of tips about Arnoldo's whereabouts, but none of them had led to anything significant. After the crime, investigators traced his phone and determined that he had traveled from Chicago to Tennessee, then to Arkansas, and from there to Hidalgo, Texas, very close to the Mexican border. They were unfortunately unable to determine where he went after that. Police have also revealed that the car in which Arnoldo carried out his heinous crime was never found.
Wow.
If the suspect is ever caught, he'll be spending the rest of his life in prison for first-degree murder and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. But based on how things have played out since the last time he was seen, it's unlikely Arnoldo will ever pay for his atrocious crime.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Vitel'homme Innocent.
Okay,
As the leader of one of Haiti's...
This guy looks crazy, I'm sorry. Someone has their eyes open like that, I wouldn't be surprised what crime what they're about to admit.
Largest and most violent criminal gangs, Craze Barry, Vitel'homme Innocent, which do not let his name fool you, he is indeed not innocent, has terrorized the region for years, earning a spot on the FBI's most wanted list for his role in a string of brutal kidnappings and murders. In October 2021, he collaborated with the notorious 400 Mawozo gang to carry out the high-profile kidnapping of 17 Christian missionaries in Haiti. Disturbingly, 5 of the kidnapping victims were children, one as young as 8 months old. Held at gunpoint, the hostages were reportedly kept captive for 2 months while the gangs demanded a ransom of $1 million per hostage.
What the hell?
It was only after an anonymous donor paid an undisclosed sum to Craze Barry and 400 Mawozo that the missionaries were finally released. Based on court
2 months held hostage? $1 million each for ransom, bro?
Documents, Innocent and his crew ended up spending the ransom money on weapons. That same year, the Haitian president was assassinated, which caused Innocent's influence to grow exponentially in the chaos that engulfed the country. In the aftermath of the assassination, Craze Barry claimed new territories and expanded their ranks quicker than the cops could even keep track of. In 2023, Craze Barry boasted an estimated 600 members, many of whom were young children who were involuntarily recruited to serve Innocent's criminal organization. Almost exactly 1 year after the kidnapping of the Christian missionaries, Craze Barry kidnapped 2 U.S. citizens under Innocent's orders, Marie Odette Franklin and Jean Franklin. Unfortunately, one of the victims did not survive, while the other was held for a $300,000 ransom. Somehow, Innocent still managed to walk away scot-free. In April 2024, CNN released an interview where Innocent brazenly showed off his luxury home, which sticks out like a sore thumb in the extreme poverty surrounding him. Surrounded by gold-rimmed couches and chairs, Innocent explained to the reporter how he came to power. In the interview, he shamelessly blamed Haiti's corruption on the country's politicians, refusing to take any responsibility for his own action.
So, a mainstream news station, CNN, everybody knows what CNN is. You know previously what this guy is known for, holding people hostage, ransom. And they just went over there and just interviewed them like things was sweet, bruh. You know this guy, this interviewer right here. Look at his face. I guarantee you before he even, you know what I'm saying, flew out there to do the interview, he texted everybody that was close to him. Like, he loves them and stuff. 100%. Had to. Look at it, bro. This guy's, he hasn't blinked once. They brave, bro. That's crazy.
He's corruption on the country's
But hey, that is the U.S. for you, man. News stations, bro. They'll do anything to, if it's, you know what I'm saying, benefit monetarily.
Refusing to take any responsibility for his own actions. Interestingly, he also alleged that before becoming the leader of Cranesbury, he had once owned multiple legitimate businesses, including a hotel and a rental car company, but said his companies were destroyed by the government.
Oh, man.
According to multiple crime analysts, Innocent was once a political activist before he turned to violent crime to maximize his influence. Back in the US, Innocent is wanted by the FBI for an insanely long list of crimes, including kidnapping for ransom, theft, murder, assault, vehicle theft, and destruction of property.
Damn.
There's a $2 million reward for information leading to his arrest.
Sheesh.
But with powerful connections and an armed gang, it'll be pretty tough to ever bring him to justice.
Wow.
Omar Alexander Cardenas. In 2022, the FBI released 2 eerie before and after clips of a man walking into and then running away from a shopping mall area on August 15, 2019. The man seen in the video is 29-year-old Omar Alexander Cardenas, and let's just say that he didn't exactly go shopping in the time that elapsed between those 2 clips. After disappearing from the camera's view, Omar walked up to a man standing outside the Hair Icon barber shop at an outdoor shopping center and fired several rounds from his semi-automatic handgun at his head, killing him instantly. Immediately after committing the crime, Omar fled the scene a little after 4 p.m. as he can be seen in the eerie FBI footage. A suspected member of the Pierce Street gang in Los Angeles, and often going by the nickname Dollar, Omar is suspected to have fled to Mexico to seek refuge among his relatives. In September 2021, a federal arrest warrant was issued for the suspect after he was charged with murder and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, thanks to which he was pinned on the most wanted billboard. Even though he committed a brutal crime pretty much in broad daylight and didn't exactly shy away from the cameras after doing it, the cops seem to know surprisingly little about Omar. The only things they really know about him are that he's around 300 pounds, wears thick prescription glasses, has at least 1 tattoo.
Bro, 5'6", 5'7", 300 pounds is diabolical.
And is considered armed and dangerous. Which alone is hardly enough to track down a criminal who's crossed international borders to flee prosecution. With time, hopefully more information will surface leading to his potential extradition and arrest. But for now, it looks like Omar will remain a most wanted criminal. Yulan Archaga. Back in the 80s, a gang known as the Mara Salvatrucha was set up to protect Salvadorian immigrants from other gangs in the Los Angeles area. Fast forward a couple of decades, and the Mara, or the MS-13 for short, had become one of the most brutal and violent criminal organizations in the world. Nowadays, MS-13 has a strong presence in El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, the US, Canada, and even Spain. They engage in all kinds of criminal activity, from drug trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, murder, and racketeering, often using extreme violence to maintain their influence and control. For many years, a man named Yulan Archaga operated as the head of MS-13's criminal activities in Honduras, providing support and resources to the gang in Central America and the US with firearms, narcotics, and loads of cash. Often operating under his alias Porky, Yulan is wanted by the FBI for trafficking multi-ton loads of drugs through Honduras to the US and for the killing of several rival gang members. Among Porky's colorful criminal charges, you'll find everything from murder to racketeering conspiracy to drug importation to possession of machine guns. Even though he's only around 160 pounds, Yulan is considered one of the most powerful men in Honduras, as the MS-13 gang has had the country in a chokehold for years. The most shocking part of the story is that at one point, Porky had already been apprehended by the Honduran authorities and was even taken to a courthouse for a hearing on charges of murdering 2 Honduran prosecutors. But during the hearing, 20 armed men dressed up in the same clothes as the anti-gang police units walked into the building escorting a veiled suspect and suddenly opened fire on the guards. In just a few seconds, the men subdued the guards and safely escorted Porky out of the courthouse, killing 4 police officers in the process. For obvious reasons, Porky is considered armed and extremely dangerous. Due to the sheer nature of his crimes, the FBI is offering $5 million to anyone who can provide information leading to his arrest. One of the things that makes it extremely difficult to track a suspect like Porky down is that he's taken every possible measure to fly under the radar. Although he's believed to still be in Honduras, he and his security team use untraceable numbers from Israel and Poland, and he goes to extreme lengths to keep his whereabouts a secret when he contacts his family. Although the hunt for Porky is far from over, he's likely to remain one of the most elusive and dangerous fugitives on the FBI's most wanted list for years to come.
Wow.
Alexis Flores. One seemingly peaceful afternoon in July 2000, 5-year-old Ariana De Jesus was playing on the street in Philadelphia with her sister and friends when her mom went out for a quick trip to the store. When her mom came back, she started living every parent's worst nightmare. Ariana had been taken by a suspicious man. Immediately, her mother reported her missing, triggering an event in Philadelphia. Afternoon in July 2000, 5-year-old Ariana De Jesus was playing on the street in Philadelphia with her sister and friends when her mom went out for a quick trip.
They said that she was with her sister and friends. I'm about to say you just left her by
To
herself.
the store. When her mom came back, she started living every parent's worst nightmare. Ariana had been taken by a suspicious man. Immediately, her mother reported her missing, triggering a citywide search for the 5-year-old girl. In a desperate effort to bring more attention to the disappearance, Ariana's family and friends covered every neighborhood wall, light post, and stop sign with flyers and missing posters, but nobody had any clue what had happened to the little girl.
Wow.
Unfortunately, after a few weeks of searching, the cops found her unresponsive in the basement of an abandoned apartment building just a few blocks away from where she had been taken. Disturbingly, the authorities also found a t-shirt featuring a bold political logo at the crime scene, which they deduced belonged to the suspect. During the investigation, a man came forward stating that he was pretty certain the t-shirt had belonged to a guy he only knew as Carlos, a drifter he had once employed as a handyman. Unfortunately, despite the promising lead, the case went cold for several years, leaving Ariana's family devastated and confused. It wasn't until 2007 that the authorities were able to analyze the shirt again thanks to recent advances in DNA technology, and what they found changed the course of the investigation forever. The DNA in the shirt was a perfect match with that of a man named Alexis Flores, who had been arrested in Arizona in 2002 for shoplifting and in 2004 for forgery. Unfortunately, by the time his DNA was linked to the crime, he had already been deported to Honduras years earlier for other, less serious crimes. As the police would later find, finding Alexis Flores was going to be a lot more difficult than they initially thought. Throughout his colorful criminal career, Alexis had provided multiple fraudulent dates of birth and names. Despite his inclusion in the most wanted list, the only things the FBI really knows about him are that Alexis is around 5'4", 130 pounds, and has visible scars on his forehead and right cheek. Due to his crimes, he's obviously also considered armed and extremely dangerous. With a $250,000 reward on his head
how
for
do
the
you do that to
crimes of kidnapping and murder, you would think that someone would have come forward with information on this guy.
What the fuck is wrong with people,
But 24 years after the crime, Alexis has remained unfound.
What is wrong with people, bro? Like, how do you do that? For what, bro? There's no excuse, no reason. How are you able to go to sleep at night? How are you even able to eat any food with that you...
Wilver Palamino. The National Liberation Army, or ELN, is a Marxist-Leninist guerrilla insurgency group in Colombia, often referred to...
I'm not gonna lie, bro. That last story, man, that really hurt, man.
...as Colombia's last true insurgency and one of Latin America's most powerful criminal organizations. In the past few years, the ELN has expanded aggressively into Venezuela, thanks to which the National Liberation Army now has over 6,000 active members. Interestingly, for the first few decades after its foundation, the group mostly focused their efforts on kidnapping, extortion, and attacking oil infrastructure. But over time, the ELN stopped shying away from drug trafficking and became deeply involved in the international drug trade, earning them the attention of the FBI. In 2023, Wilver Palamino became the 530th addition to the FBI's most wanted list on multiple serious charges ranging from narco-terrorism to murder to drug trafficking. Often running under the alias The Hog, Palamino is a high-ranking member of the National Liberation Army who's been involved in a 20-year conspiracy to distribute drugs from Colombia to the US, thanks to which a warrant for his arrest was issued back in 2020. Wilver has also been accused of murdering multiple human rights advocates in Venezuela and the Catatumbo region in Colombia between 2017 and 2019. Due to his high rank and his responsibility in flooding the streets of Houston and other major U.S. cities with drugs, the United States Department of State's Narcotics Rewards Program is offering a reward of up to $5 million for information leading to Palamino's arrest. As of today, it's a complete mystery where this guy is, but considering the ELN oversees the production of over 200 tons of drugs which are later distributed worldwide, obviously including the US, it makes sense why he was put on the list. Donald Eugene Fields II. Since 2022, Donald Eugene Fields has been wanted by the FBI for the alleged trafficking of at least one child in Missouri between 2013 and 2017. According to the authorities, Fields took a 14-year-old girl and offered her to his friend Ted Sartori Jr. in exchange for cash, cars, motorcycles.
Nah, you fucking sick fuck, man. This is a sick fuck right here, dog. Are you kidding me, dog? Are you that desperate for materialistic things? You are trafficking a kid for motorcycles, bro, and just others.
Vacations and Christmas presents. Last known to live in Franklin County, Missouri, Fields has apparently been moving around the country since 2022, working sporadic jobs as a tree trimmer and independently selling used cars in an effort to fly under the radar. Based on court documents, it's believed that Donald probably took more than one victim, and that he might be hiding out with his girlfriend Jennifer Isgriggs, who is also wanted on a felony warrant for failure to provide child support. Since 2022,
That is odd. You never hear that on the woman's side, failure to supply child support. Two weirdos, dog.
Cops have received multiple tips indicating that Fields spent some time in the Tampa area, and as soon as they heard that, they started running Facebook ads with his face on a most wanted poster to ask for the public's assistance in locating him. Unfortunately, it's likely that by then Fields had already fled to Stover, Missouri. The FBI has also placed large billboards with Fields' face in cities where he's known to travel, but so far it seems like he's managed to stay a step ahead of the cops. Earlier in 2024, Sartori, Fields' partner in crime, pleaded guilty to his charges and will face up to 30 years in prison. He'll also likely have to pay $25,000 in restitution to his victim. Based on court documents, he'll be officially sentenced in early November 2024. As per the FBI's description of the suspect, Fields has multiple scars on his body as well as a tribal print tattoo on his right shoulder. With such a big effort being made by the FBI to make this guy's face known, hopefully someday he'll be recognized by someone and promptly turned into the authorities.
Disgusting.
But for now, the cops have urged the public to consider him armed and dangerous.
Hey man, FTC, let me know if you want me to watch more type of videos like this, man. You know, I mentioned this in the past before. If you guys mess with like the documentary type of videos and stuff like that, and like, you know, just more of like the real lifey type of things. I feel like it's a lot of stuff that we can, you know, have you guys, you know, either learn from or just like, you know, just give free game out there and everything, dog. Guys, please stay safe out there. Watch your surroundings, man. You see the weirdo people, and the sad thing is, this isn't even 0.1% of the weirdos out there, dog. It's just so some of this stuff is so sickening, bro. Like, it's kind of even disrespectful. It sounds, I wouldn't say necessarily crazy, but I mean, bro, it sounds disrespectful even to, like, for example, like that last dude. They only have a $250,000 reward for that. Like, y'all can't like make the reward a lot more, like, you know what I'm saying, like up for people to like get that weirdo up out of here or something like that. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, man, it's sickening, man, to see that type of stuff, dog.